Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Elder Wolf MTG. Really appreciate y'all coming on this adventure with me as I continue to open packs here just to get better cards. And of course, the channel goal is we're wanting to open every single card, 4 copies of every card that this game has to offer without spending a single penny. It's going to be a long journey, but excited to be on this journey with you. So let's continue our pack opening here and see what we get. I think I will try to do the remaining packs here. We'll see how long it takes. I usually have a timer running in the background so I can kind of see the length of video, but we'll see. It'll be either this video or maybe this one plus one more. But let's jump right into the Lord of the Rings. I really enjoyed this set quite a bit. Lots of flavor. I'm a big Lord of the Rings fan. Yeah, anyway, just super excited to have this. And we get Shadow of the Enemy, a sorcery for 6, really heavy into black mana. You exile all creature cards from a target player's graveyard, so yours, your opponent's, and you may cast spells from among those cards for as long as they remain exiled. So that is super powerful effect for late game, especially if you have, creatures that you're sacrificing or you have a lot of mill effects for yourself. Yeah, it can be just incredible. So really powerful card. For any games in Limited, if you were to play this in Limited that went long and then you cast this and it goes on for 2-3 more turns, then you're probably going to take over the game. But yeah, super powerful effect. All right, let's go to the next one. Next pack, we get Aragorn, Company Leader, 3/3 for 3. Whenever the ring tempts you, if you choose a creature other than Aragorn as your ring bearer, put your choice of a counter from among either First Strike, Vigilance, Death Touch, and Lifelink on Aragorn. And whenever you put one or more counters on Aragorn, put one of each of those kinds of counters on up to one other target creature. So you can start spreading some love, if you will, among your creatures by having the ring tempts you effects. Yeah, pretty good ability here. You can build around this and make a pretty powerful deck if you have tons of ring tempt in a green-white package. All right, last one of this. Let's see. Oh, looks like we got a mythic here. The Watcher in the Water, 5 mana, 9/9. It enters the battlefield tapped with 9 stun counters on it. Remember, stun counters, anytime you untap it, if it has a stun counter, you just remove the stun counter. And whenever you draw a card during an opponent's turn, you create a 1/1 tentacle creature token. And whenever a tentacle creature or a tentacle you control dies, you untap up to 1 target Kraken and put a stun counter on up to 1 target non-land permanent. So yeah, if you have card draw effects, this can get untapped pretty quick and you can start controlling your opponent. Pretty fun effect, fun build around for sure if you had this in your deck. So pretty fun card. All right, let's go to March of the Machine, the Aftermath, the storyline of the March of the Machine. And let's see what we got. Nahiri's Resolve, 5 mana enchantment. Creatures you control get +1/+0 and have haste. So 5 mana, not too great for that, but at the beginning of your end step, you can exile any number of non-token artifacts and or creatures, and you return those cards to the battlefield under their owner's controls at the beginning of your next upkeep. So really good enter the battlefield effects enchantment here. This is something that could be pretty powerful. It is 5 mana in a Boros, so if you have some enter the battlefield effect creatures at the beginning, and then this goes late game, yeah, then you have you'll start getting some good value from it. Karuga, the Macro Sage. This is a 5 mana 5/4 companion, so you can start this companion outside your starting deck if you can keep to the restrictions, so it's kind of like a +1 card to your deck without being affecting your it's basically always available just by paying 3 colorless to put it into your hand as sorcery, not instant, as a sorcery speed. So this restriction for the companion, your starting deck contains only cards with mana value 3 or greater and land cards. So really getting some high value cards here. And then when it enters the battlefield, draw a card for each other permanent you control. So you can kind of refill your hand if you just have lots of 3+ drops. The danger of this, of course, is facing against super aggro decks. It may be too slow for you to really take advantage, but so you probably want to stack your deck with some 3 drops early on so you can get some control and get some stabilization. This one will take over once you put it in by just refilling your hand if you can keep your creatures on the battlefield. Okay, let's keep going. Next pack here in the Aftermath. We have Metropolis Reformer, 3 mana, 2/3 flying vigilance, so pretty good stat lines already. It gives you as a player hexproof, and then if it's ever dealt damage, you gain that much life. So that's not super relevant most of the time, but can be. But it's really the hexproof and just a good stat line in general, especially if you have a flyer deck. Pretty good. And let's see, last pack here. Danitha, New Benalia's Light, 3 mana, 2/2 with Vigilance, Trample, and Lifelink. And once during each of your turns, you may cast an aura equipment spell from your graveyard. So this deck definitely wants to have equipments and auras, of course, buffing up most likely Danitha and just making her kind of go off. So very much a build around single creature. You probably want to get things like Snake Skin Veils, those types of things with this type of deck built around this. Yeah, pretty interesting card there. Let's keep going with our regular March of the Machine, or the Mom set. Let's see, Errant and Giada, 2/3 flyer for 3 with a flash. Pretty good stat lines there. You can look at the top card of your library anytime, and you may cast spells with flash or flying from the top of your library. So yeah, really good for the blue-white flyers deck, and anything obviously with flash. Yeah, pretty good effect here. Definitely a fun deck to play if you like blue-white flyers. Let's keep on going here. All right, 2 rares here. We have the Zephyr Singer, 4 mana for a 3/4 flying vigilance. Pretty good stat line. When it enters the battlefield, you put a flying counter on each creature that convoked it. So this can get a little bit crazy if you have little creatures before you get to 4 mana, and then you convoke with those creatures to get this out, and all of a sudden those creatures have flying. It can really help you do a racing against your opponent. It can really help out with that. Atris, Oracle of Half-Truths, Dimir, 4 mana cost, 3/2 menace, so decent stat line. And then when this creature enters the battlefield, target opponent looks at the top 3 cards of your library and separates them to a face-down pile and a face-up pile. So pretty much it's almost assuredly going to be 1 and 2 different two piles of 1 and 2, and one goes in your hand, the other graveyard. So yeah, good value, especially, you know, obviously if you're Dimir. All right, last one, a March of the Machine. Let's see what we have here. Invasion of Tarkir. These are the battles. I really like the battle mechanic. I thought they were a fun new card type that gives some interesting strategic choices. You know, if you go too heavy on the battles and sieges, but you can't flip them, then they're kind of, you just get their enter the battlefield effects. But then yeah, it creates some interesting choices for both you and your opponent about either blocking to keep the sieges from flipping or not. But this one's a really good one, especially if you have dragons, very much a build around dragons. This invasion deals X plus 2 damage to any other target where X is the number of cards revealed. So if you have, like, let's say 1 dragon in your hand that you reveal, then it does 3 damage to any other target when it comes in for 2. So pretty good. But if you have 2, then it's 4 damage. So yeah, that's a pretty good one. But then, I mean, when you flip it, it's a 4/4 flying trample dragon. And when a dragon you control attacks any dragon, then it deals 2 damage to any target. So yeah, this thing can take over the game, especially if you have lots of dragons. Yeah, fun build around. All right, Shadows over Innistrad Remastered. Let's see what this is. Bruna, the Fading Light, 7 mana. Super expensive for a 5/7 flying vigilance. Yeah, I mean, that's obviously very good if you get it out. Whenever you cast this spell, you may return a target angel or human creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. So very powerful effect for sure. It's just 7 mana is such a high mana cost. I mean, you need this. You need to have control in your decks to get to that late game or mana ramp of some sort. But then you can meld with just Gisela, the Broken Blade. Let's see. I'm just reading here. Melding a pair of cards results in a single combined permanent. Copies can't be melded. Yeah, so there you go. And of course, if you do meld it, then you get the 9/10 Flying First Strike, Vigilance, Lifelink, and they can't cast spells with a mana value 3 or less. So anyway, that's almost a game ender if you can get that, but that's more constructed, obviously, than when this was in some kind of limited format. So let's keep going. Who knows? Maybe we'll get the Gacela. That would be pretty awesome if we did. This is not that. Sigarda's Aid, 1 mana enchantment. You can cast Arn equipment spells as though they had flash. That's pretty cool. And whenever an equipment enters the battlefield under control, you may attach it. So that's a pretty neat trick for sure, because it, well, discard's not the trick. It allows you to have basically tricks in your hand with auras and equipments. And yeah, pretty interesting build around for our equipment decks. A little stutter there by the server. All right, let's see here. Sin Prodder, 3 mana, 3/2 Menace. Good stat line. At the beginning of your upkeep, reveal the top card of your library. Any opponent may have you put that card into your graveyard. If a player does that, then this creature deals damage to that player equal to the card's mana value. Otherwise, put the card into your hand. Yeah, good value. Yeah, very good value, especially for aggro decks. Very much good value for that. All right, looks like we're not going to finish the video here well, let me rephrase that. We're going to finish the video here pretty soon, and then we'll do one last video of card opening extravaganzas here in the future. But let's go here. We have Black Sun's Twilight. Yeah, great card. Really good value in late game, but in early game you can just use it as a pretty good removal spell in a black deck. Very easily splashable. Yeah, really, really powerful card. Really enjoy that one a lot. All right, let's see here. Graz, Unstoppable Juggernaut, 8 colorless mana for a 7/5, and then Juggernaut type creatures. They attack each combat if able. They cannot be blocked by walls. Not super relevant, generally speaking. And other creatures you control have a base power and toughness 5/3 and are Juggernauts in addition to other creature types. So really what you want to do is have just a ton of little bitty creatures. This comes down on the battlefield, and now those little bitties are 5/3 and attacking each turn if able. Kind of an interesting, you know, if you've got tons of little wide creatures on the battlefield, they just become, yeah, 5/3 base. They could be flyers, like whatever they are, but they're 5/3 base and they're Juggernauts. So pretty interesting card there. And let's see here. Okay, Koth, Fire Resistance, 4 mana Planeswalker, gets 4 loyalty counters when it comes in, and you can, it's a +2, so it goes up pretty quick. Search your library for a basic mount card, reveal it in your hand. -3, it comes in, you can deal damage equal to the number of mountains you control. So if you're mono red, it can come in and just blow up a creature, you know, pretty quick, most likely. And then it's -7, you get a permanent emblem with whenever a mountain enters the battlefield under your control, it deals 4 damage to any target. So yeah, mono red is really where you want to be most of the time for this. But yeah, super powerful for that card, or for that archetype for sure. All right, let's finish with Phyrexia packs here, and then we'll close down the video. And we've got Vexer, Ictakix Air, 3/4 for 3, and whenever you seek one or more cards, create a 3/3 colorless Phyrexian Golem creature token, and all golems you control have vigilance. Yeah, so if you're doing for the Phyrexian Golem deck, I mean, yeah, obviously you want this card. Obviously it's Alchemy deck. That's what cards we're opening right now. Alchemy Phyrexia. Let's see what else we get here. Surgical Metamorph. It is a 4 mana, which costs 1 colorless less to cast if you were not the starting player, so potentially 3 starting mana, mana costs, and you may have this enter the battlefield as a copy of any permanent on the battlefield except it's an artifact. So yeah, if they got a bomb, then you can copy it and make your own bomb. Pretty powerful. This will be the last one before we shut down this video. And we get Galma the Shaper, a 3 mana, 3/3 vigilance, so good stats. And whenever this attacks, you conjure a card named Tempered Steel into your hand, and then you create a 1/1 colorless mirror artifact creature token. So yeah, it's going to attack, and then yeah, Tempered Steel is a 3 mana enchantment. All artifact creatures you get +2/+2. So this is all about tokens, or specifically artifact creature decks. So pretty powerful effect there for alchemy. Okay, we're going to stop the video there. Let's see, we have just a handful more of packs, but I'm going to put that in another video. I really appreciate everybody being here and watching the content. If you can like and subscribe, that would be great. We're going to be hunting here pretty soon. I hope you have enjoyed these videos that we just been opening, but I will, as we go along in the channel and as we get more and more packs, I'll do the same thing. I'll probably do, 15 to 20 packs at a time and just have them open and see what we pull. And really appreciate y'all watching, and we'll go hunting here pretty soon. Thanks everybody, and until next time.